Welcome to movie night. My name, for those who don't know, is Jordan. In the back, we do have restrooms, and as you've seen here, there's QR codes here that will take you to some awesome menu selections that you can get drinks and food brought up to you. So please dabble in some of that. So our second and last film of the night is going to be a typical The Atypical Pulp Show by Jeff Lucy, and we'll bring him up and have a conversation with him.
Well, that's true.
Enjoy, guys. Let's bring up Jeff Lucy. I'm back to all the connection I had at you too. Internet, thanks for having me. Yeah. So this is the world premiere of this little movie. So yeah, so making sure that I wanted to thank Jordan because he does a lot for filmmakers. It's very hard to be seen in this digital world, man. It's me so much that can you do this in please? As well as everyone's here. So with this, I love the whole public access conversation. I cut with especially with the archive footage that you
it was all real.
I just wanted to because we saw the almost like a Jumper-esque type of secret society movie from you before.
Yeah.
So was this something that was you made it this year or was this?
Yeah, it was a couple months ago. Yeah, this was probably concept this spring. It was a couple months, but it was something about the summer I know I needed to capture, and it was one of those situations where the point of it is that no matter what you're doing, you saw the anagram re-scramble at the end. It was like past is going to come and get you no matter what. I'm recreating this scale you could think of. Things from behind are always going to catch back up to you. So the motivation of this was, and you know some of my previous features, very introspective, but this was like, did he really go? And that's one of the things that I'll ask the audience. Did he really go, or is this guy just making it up? But he's coming on these shows with all his credibility and all these things. Clearly he knows what he's talking about. But you can't believe him on these things. I can't give you evidence. I can't take pictures of it. You just have to believe me this time machine. Can you show it to me? Can't show it to you either. So it's just how much are you willing to put faith in other people? Then they may not be telling the truth. So a lot of this movie is the nature of truth and the nature of what you define truth, because we all go through that uphill struggle. There's rocks that we say are calling to you. So you're working your ass off to get up this hill. And when you get to the top, is this it? Or are you finding the other trees that may have a meaning for you and you're just making your own meaning? So this rings for a lot of people, but to me, it was like, you've got to understand who to trust and who to talk to, because they could be bought with money.
I really resonated with the thing where you have the flashback to as a kid.
That's my nephew, man. That's my nephew, Jen and Jen. Those two executive producers here.
It resonated with me because there's a place in Texas where I grew up with, and I thought the same thing. I only know this club.
And no one is ever there.
I just want to make a clubhouse where people are going to know about this club.
Yeah.
But that's where this struck that.
Exactly. Yeah. There's places where it's just you can let your guard down, fine, because it could be this little area, but no one is ever going to see you there. And I always had a final cut of it, and I looked, and there's people walking through the back. It was a public park, and it ain't gonna work. So I was like, yeah.
And then as far as, because it very much reminded me of, again, going back to public access as PBS or something that you would watch on the History Channel. And all those are great nods, of course, because it's some of those things just no one ever really thinks about it, but when you sit there and watch it, it's something that makes you think. Yeah, it's this is what you brought up is this person is talking crazy talk, or
Are they onto something? And that, no, and that can happen, and that's okay. You have these brilliant scientists that something happens in their life, trauma from the past, that have caught up to them finally, and they go up the end, and all of a sudden they're outcast of the society, blackballed, you're never going back. You've got 8 PhDs, but we don't care anymore, and it's true. And it's just the way a lot of things turn out, just because you're not current with the times. But I think everyone has their own atypical culture. You know, a lot of the media has a ton of meetings to me, obviously from the Enneagram, but a typical cult is a group, right? An atypical cult is you're by yourself. And so we're all kind of the star of our own shows, and we make guest appearances in other people's shows, but you have your own story to tell, and it's up to, you know, I guess it's up to you what you want to believe to make your own reality. So that's really one of the average. Absolutely, yes.
Well, we'll bring up to audience. Any questions for Jeff?
Yeah, Justin, start.
Let's see. So what inspired the time machine itself? Like the rotation of it, like looking down at the space size.
One of those zero budget things where it was just using the stuff that you have to make it seem bigger than it really is. But the inversion of the time machine thing was probably, well, it turned out to be a couple reasons. It made the folder hanging upside down to kind of enforce the elderly thing, but it was more of giving it that extreme part. It was like this old guy, bless him, he's just on an emergency, but in his mind, he can't get over. He can't get over the fact that like he messed up when he was young, or maybe when he went to the hill there was trauma and he's blocked it. But something happened that day in the park where it stopped, and so like, whether that tablet was his little blankie that he wanted to keep forever, or really was schematics, it's up to the audience to decide. I think he went. I personally think he was a weird genius dude that figured it out, that he doesn't know how to explain it. It was like his equivalent of talking to God. He's like, I can't explain it. But the upside down part just made sense to me, just because it's one more thing to add to the mumbo jumbo of like, oh, wait, then he goes upside down too. Okay. Yeah. But he's telling the truth?
Yeah. Perspective, yeah. So like, whether this was intentional or not, but like it was something that was David Marketing was like concept that Carl Sagan talked about, like the deep time and how they can put all those police history of each other. Yeah, human history would be like the last couple.
It's a second. Yeah.
Like Steve.
Oh man, we need to talk afterwards. This stuff goes deep. This stuff goes deep.
For this history, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's so like mind-boggling, like unsettled, like how much history there has been on Earth, and we're developing.
Yeah, that we know, that we even think we know about. It's just like sometimes you do the laugh to say like you don't know that. You don't know that. Yeah, come on, man.
Well, yeah, anyone else is on? And so that's the question.
No, yeah, definitely the feeling of, and does it matter? And does this matter?
No, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. With this guy went back, and I'm looking at it like an alien. Like that happened then, that happened then. I'm not seeing.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. They went taxi.
That's not the thing.
Sure. Next question, actually.
They talk about the archives village and what exactly?
Definitely, yeah. So the Brainy movie shot from my late uncle, who's one of the images at the end, and that was inside of the house where my mom was, and that was my Uncle Joe. And he was sitting, I know we don't look too much alike, but that was a real, and that was taken from his film when he shot when he was 13 by Uncle Jim, Rocky Raccoon. He did it shot for shot for the song Rocky Raccoon by the Beatles. So he did it on 16 millimeter, but he had to sing the song in his head because he can't go back and edit it like that. He just did it and held it. He was using his brothers as the stand-ins. And then the other footage was 1997, my high school graduation, but I added grain into it and sped it up by 3/4 to make it look like it was one of those 1970s, oldie movies.
So there were a couple moments of like surrealism there. Can you talk about like why do you pick those certain moments and why it kind of means for the side of it, Bill?
Sure. Which in terms of just like,
I mean, there's like when he was like the multiple images of him on like upside down.
Yeah. I wish I was a better visual effects guy for that, but I wanted it to at least portray that he was probably in multiple areas at the same time. Like it was a simultaneous mix of. I've been trying to queue up with the because I need feedback too if I want to release this. I for sure want to tweak it up some, but he's trying to figure out what part in history, because if you're only looking at the fourth time dimension, not the spatial dimensions, it's probably all over the place. And so it's my lack of visual effects, but that's kind of what I wanted to convey. So thanks for pointing that out. I could probably do something a little bit more clear. Yeah. Clear too.
Were you inspired by another scholar?
Yeah, I think what the final note to me was definitely one of the final shots from Interstellar 2. It was just start to the beginning. I loved how Christopher Nolan doesn't rely on effects, and he recruited real scientists and NASA people to say, if this were happening, what would it be like? And they chimed in, and I think a lot of my science from this also came from a practical standpoint of like, well, is that possible? Like, if we go back far enough and we just look at the Earth, isn't that the same thing? And that's really what it came to. But I did know, I didn't talk to a scientist or anything like that, but for sure, Interstellar contacting another inspiration. Yeah.
How when you studying that, you post the first and where would you, like what specific they were in environment will go back?
Yeah, to reinforce that, the first cut I had, I didn't have any of that. It was kind of like, will the audience even remember that's what he's going for? Like when he gets into the shed, he waited until 2027 to get the physical interaction, but I don't know if that got lost on you. So I think I added the reminders of him saying, this is what I'm doing. But I think he wanted to go back to erase himself, to say like, however this pans out, this light trajectory is the one where I'm not burdened with this truth. So I'm going to make him distracted and not go up that hill. And he's just going on another direction. But the final shot is to remind everybody, like, the world's still going to keep going, man. Like, you're doing your own thing and do whatever, but the water's still going to flow. The sun's going to get up every day, and it's still going to keep trucking, no matter what you try to deviate from. So it's just reinforcing that, like, we're incredibly special and rare, but nothing at the same time. Yeah. Like,
I know that what feelings, but it just feels the
yeah.
like going to acting still having it almost seems like protecting his air.
Yes, you did. Yeah, one of the things for sure you got out of it. Yeah, it's because
So that because like the biggest thing is to like you walk through like the normal experience like this energy.
but
Tries to protect himself and never secure things. A lot of these good things. I don't know if that was weird.
it's a perfect summary. I'm glad you got that out. It was one of the intentions for sure. Of just no matter when it happens to you, sometimes time stops for people, and it's just like I'm fine here, and this is you're a grown adult still doing these things, but it's just however you choose to go with it. But whatever, that was a beautiful interpretation. Thank you.
So, you mentioned anagram relates to pop culture. What's that? Academic.
Oh, at the very end, it kind of blurred in. Atypical culture transforms to the past will catch you. Yeah, so it's no matter what you bury, no matter what you say, something's gonna come around. Yeah, it's gotta come around. Yeah.
The Tristan, this sort of time travels to all the look that was straight. Which version of time travel do you live in for? Back to the Future branching?
Oh man, we need to talk actually. You know, 4 a.m. Yeah.
Is it like eternal? Is it eternity or two, or is
I think this one is you can't go forward. It's only backwards. This is the one where it's just
there's something.
yeah. It's just it hasn't happened yet. Like the energy hasn't been dispersed. I'll do the plug now, the free swag plug. But if you want any free shit, it's free to take. Happy to take donations for movie nights to keep these guys going. But T-shirts, Blu-rays from a feature, I just want to get rid of it. So take as much as you can, please. It's all free. But if you like this kind of weird stuff, but yeah, I just really appreciate it. Oh, is that even a key? Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were like different styles. Is it like?
Yeah, it's just like just weird marketing. That's not my official logo. That's kind of older stuff. Yeah, and then this movie streams premieres tomorrow night on YouTube at 8. That'll be on YouTube forever after that. Yeah. Out there listening.
Thanks so much. But I like it from now. Yeah, it's not so like I actually.
Jordan and movie night. Yes!
Let's do the hand exchange.
Yeah, we could do. Activate! Yeah. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I know, I signed it off.